Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, I'm going to be exploring a cheap alternative small hive beetle management technique. I'm going to give you two ways of making small hive beetle traps. One is an extremely cheap disposable DIY method, and the other is an extremely cheap reusable 3D printable small hive beetle trapping enclosure. We're going to be exploring these two alternatives to commercially available small hive beetle traps, and I'm going to be showing you how to deploy them across your apiaries. The small hive beetle is a small black-brown beetle that originates from sub-Saharan Africa. Its life cycle revolves around honeybee colonies, with the sexual reproduction and larval stage of the beetles occurring within honeybee colonies. The presence of the small hive beetles within honeybee colonies causes a diversion of resources which could otherwise be put to use collecting and storing honey, as well as the larval stages of the beetle actually causing destruction within the hive, eating honey bee larvae and spreading a yeast which actually causes the honey to ferment within the honeycomb cells themselves. In smaller numbers, the bees can manage these small hive beetles themselves, but given the right conditions, these small hive beetles can overcome a weakened hive and cause what is known as a slime out, which is an infestation so great that the larval stages have overcome the hive, causing the honey to ferment and slime across the honeycomb of the hive, which is the worst case scenario for this pest's invasion of a hive. As beekeepers, we have multiple methods of controlling the small hive beetle, from physical methods that restrict their entrance into the hive and internal methods like oil traps that can be used within the hives themselves. The most effective of these traps combines physical traps with measured and baited poison to both enclose and kill the small hive beetle without affecting the bees in the hive. Now, all these traps and poisons have their upsides and downsides. The traps with oil tending to be quite messy, and I don't really like having oil in and around my hives. And the poisons tending to be quite expensive because they go through a bunch of approval processes that the companies then have to pass the cost on. And because there's very little competition, they price gouge us as consumers. However, we can actually just reverse engineer some of these traps by looking at the active ingredients and the rate of application of those active ingredients. We can design our own small hive beetle poison traps. One of our options was Apithor, a CD-sized cassette that only allows the small hive beetle into the trap itself, where a corrugated cardboard is applied with fipronil, which is an insecticide, which comes in contact with the small hive beetle. But because of the cassette on the outside, no bees are allowed to contact that cardboard. Now, this is a really effective trap, and it's been approved for use in beehives in Australia. What we want to do is come up with a similar idea that is using the same application rate of fipronil, has the same safeguard to make sure that the bees can't get into the trap, and is relatively cheap. What you'll need. This is a readily available cockroach killer gel. It's available at Bunnings in Australia, and I guarantee that there would be something equivalent available in your country. The main thing you're looking for with this gel is the active constituent is 0.5 grams per kilogram of fipronil. This is exactly equivalent to the application rate that is used in the Apithor traps. That means that we can safely use it within a beehive, but it will also be extremely effective to kill our small hive beetles. Now, we don't want this coming into contact with the bees. So the next thing we need is an enclosure that will stop the bees from contacting the gel, as well as allow for the small hive beetle to instinctively run into the enclosure to escape the bees as the bees try to pester the beetles within the hive. To do this, we're going to need this. This is just standard white plastic core flute sheeting. This is essentially two pieces of plastic with ridges creating cavities between the two layers, and this is perfectly sized for a small hive beetle to run into to escape from bees. Bees will not be able to enter into this core flute, and we can cut traps out of the core flute so that we can place our bait within it. Now I understand there is different size core flute, so I'm just going to give you a quick measurement. The hole sizing on these are 5mm by 5mm. So make sure that your core flute is a standard 5mm by 5mm sheet, and that is what I'm using here today. And that does not allow bees to enter into the core flute. So what we want to achieve here is a piece of core flute that is 3 inches by 2 inches. And that is going to give us the size of our trap. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut up my core flute into 2-inch by 3-inch pieces. 3 inches being the line length and 2 inches being across the grain. Once you've cut one, you can just use that to measure the rest. Okay, so now we've got all of our sections of core flute. What we're going to do now is we're going to load them with bait. So to do this, we need to slice each of our pieces of core flute so that you slice the top layer but not the bottom layer. This will give us a section to fill with bait that we can then seal back up so that the bees can't get to it. To each of our sections, we are just going to run our knife down the middle of our piece of core flute. You don't have to cut each of these ridges all the way through, because once you slice this top piece, like so, you can see there that I haven't actually cut all the way through that center rib. But once you actually lever this open, all of those central pieces are going to split all the way down to that plastic on the other side. So we now have access to the center of our core flute, and from here we can take our gel, and they come in a syringe like this. We undo the top of our gel. We then dispense the gel along the spine of our core flute. Once you've applied your bait, we can then close up our core flute, tape around the outside of the core flute, making sure that all traces of the bait are within the core flute or covered by the tape so that the bees cannot come into contact with that bait. And now we have a bunch of really inexpensive small hive beetle core flute traps that we can deploy into our hives so that our bees can force our beetles into the traps and towards the bait that they will then consume. I'll show you how to place these into your hives in a second, but I'd actually like to have a look at another type of baited trap that is widely available for use for beekeepers that is almost identical to this method. Top bait is a small hive beetle baiting system, which uses small cassettes that you then place the bait within the cassette, and it baits the small hive beetle in a very similar way to these traps. In fact, if we look at the safety data sheet for top bait, it is literally the exact same concentration and makeup as our cockroach killer gel. It is actually classified as a small hive beetle and cockroach bait. The main difference between this gel and the top bait gel is the price. And on top of that price, you are actually going to be paying for the enclosures, which are about $3 to $4 per piece. What I wanted to do is give you the option to, rather than making your own enclosures for this gel or the top bait gel, you can 3D print them. That enclosure I just showed you, it's a fully 3D printable small hive beetle baiting enclosure. So the full weight of this print is 28.5 grams of filament, and that is going to cost 34 cents to print. So what you would do with this enclosure is we're going to tear our enclosure and we're going to add in 1 gram of our cockroach killer gel to the very center of the print. And we just close that up. And because of the way that the print is designed, even if the bees' tongues were long enough, they wouldn't be able to contact the gel. This is specifically designed for a honeybee or Apis mellifera so that they cannot come into contact with this gel and only the small hive beetles can. We can just close that up, and because there's quite a large dollop of bait, once this is closed, it will not move around in the trap. We can just clip that closed, like so, and it will not come apart. You cannot see the gel within the trap, and these openings are 5 millimeters high and 14 millimeters wide. They will not allow the bees to enter into this trap. They are identical to the ones designed for the top bait system. And as usual, these will be available on my Patreon so that you can download them and print them yourself if you want a reusable 3D printable option. This can just be opened with any kind of lever. Once the bait is exhausted, you can remove any dead beetles that have been propellized into this trap and reset the trap so that you can reuse this print across all of your apiaries if you don't like this disposable option. This disposable option is obviously going to be more accessible to more people and cheaper unless you decide to print your own and reuse them, which will end up being cheaper in the long run. Now I'm going to show you how we deploy the traps. There's going to be a few important considerations when deploying these style of traps. We do not want to create more harborage for the small hive beetle. So when placing these, make sure they're flat and don't create a gap underneath the devices. We do not want these devices to be inundated with water. The safest place to make sure that these devices do not sit in water is at the top of the hive. So either at the top of the honey supers or the top of the brood box, depending if you've got honey supers or not. This is going to allow the bees to force the beetles up into the hive. And as the beetles move up, they're going to continue looking for safe harborage, so gaps and cracks within the hive itself. This is going to give them their best option, forcing the beetles into our traps. Now, I have actually deployed these in a multi-layered scenario as well, where I've got them on top of the brood box and on top of the honey supers, depending on the infestation levels of my hives at the time. So we can just open up this hive and I'll just crack the top lid. And we can check our old bait, and I'm not sure if you can see in there, but about half the bait has been eaten by the beetles. So I'm actually going to replace this so that I don't have to come in here again later. So I like to have them in the corners like so, 10 centimeters out from each of the sides and on an angle pressed down against the frames. For our 3D printable version, we're going to do the same, and we're going to do it in the opposite corner as well. So just make sure we're not crushing any bees while we're putting it down, and then we can put our lid back over that like so. And there we have both our DIY and 3D printable traps in place so that any small hive beetle will be forced up and into them. As you can see here, I've placed the trap in the brood box with both sides of the trap accessible to the beetles, so it's not butted up against the corner of the brood box. This specific hive only had a light small hive beetle infestation, so I only added one trap. If it were a larger infestation, I would have one trap in each corner so that as the beetles get pushed up, they are more likely to find the traps within the hives. Now, as you can see with this trap, this is a used trap and it has no bait left in it. These style of traps tend not to be propellized, and I'm not sure why, but it is a good thing. It means that the beetles always have access to the bait. I've seen reviews online using these style of traps that say these actually get propellized up as the bees are trying to create a prison for the small hive beetles. And that is actually a benefit of this trap, as it contains all of the dead small hive beetles within the trap. But it does mean that you have to clean the traps out and depropellize them to use the entirety of the bait within the trap. Whereas these ones, even after a substantial amount of use, like these used traps have had, you can see that the bees have not propellized the ends of the traps. These are actually slightly maintenance free when it comes to the beetles actually being able to access that bait until the bait is fully exhausted. This means that the beetles will then leave the trap and die, and the bees will then carry those beetles out of the hive and dispose of them out of the front entrance as they are performing their cleaning duties. As well as deploying the small hive beetle traps on the top bars of my hive, I also deploy them within the trays underneath my screened baseboard. And this means that when the bees push the small hive beetle down, any small hive beetle that enter into the base tray will then find these harborages and eat the bait. And you can see there that all of the small hive beetles that have gone into that tray have then died. And similarly here. Now with this method, it is very important that the hives that you're using this method for don't have water inundation that collect in those trays, because you don't want that active ingredient to be dispersed anywhere that the bees can then contact the active ingredient. Now I've personally found small hive beetle trapping to be extremely important for the health of my hives, especially given that a large number of those hives are flow style. Now when adding a flow super to a brood box, something that not many people take into consideration is that mass of uncapped cells acts as hiding places, harborage, for the small hive beetle. You are actually adding a bunch of small hive beetle pressure to your colony of bees when you add a flow super to the top of that brood box, because that is a bunch of space that the bees now have to patrol and remove small hive beetle from each cell. And I think that this technique will be useful not only to the commercial growers, although you will have to take into consideration the laws and regulations in your area and whether this is actually legal to use a non-approved treatment, and hobby beekeepers that want to protect their colonies from this insidious pest. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hoochos. I hope it's helped you with your small hive beetle infestation problems. Happy beekeeping, and I will see you next time on Hoochos.